All right. I've met most of you, but for those of you who don't know me, my name is Bethany Serena. I'm a somatic and integrative health coach. I'm also a student of integrative health. I'm working on a Doctor of Science degree at the American College of Healthcare Sciences. The purpose of this workshop is twofold. It's material that I'm really excited about, and this is how I envisioned coaching from the very beginning. From when I first showed up to my very first module of coach training. And this is my final requirement to complete my training at the Somatic School. This is my real world inquiry for those of you who are also at the Somatic School. You don't have to do a workshop, obviously, but as a student, I just couldn't stand to write anything else. A lot of clients feel uncomfortable or intimidated by the question, where do you feel this in your body? And so my intention is to not say that at all this evening. I want to show you ways to invite awareness into the body without making clients feel uncomfortable or intimidated. We're going to cover coaching for behavior change, the trans-theoretical model, motivational interviewing, and the core principles of somatic coaching. My goal is to give you a little bit of a taste of each one of these things, but not overwhelm you with the nitty-gritty. I want to give you a taste so that you can figure out what's interesting to you and what you want to explore more. But I'm hoping to keep the lecturing stuff to less than 10 minutes. So we'll blaze through it. And I want to give you lots of time to practice with other people. To arrive fully in this space, I'm going to lead us through an orientation. Somatic School people, you know what this is all about. But if this is a new practice for you, the intention is to settle your nervous system through environmental attunement. So we'll start by experiencing our baseline and begin exactly where we are. Nothing to change. I invite you to put down your pens, uncross your legs, be comfortable, relax your shoulders, and let your eyes soften. Check in with yourself and with where you are right now. We'll take 60 seconds to let our eyes wander around your room. Let them go where they want to go at a pace that feels comfortable. Notice how the world is making contact with you right now through your visual sense. What do you see when you just see? Maybe your eyes land on something that brings you a little joy, a little pleasure. Let your eyes rest there for as long as it feels right. And then as soon as it's no longer enjoyable, let your eyes wander again, exploring the space that you're in. And if you are enjoying this, you can continue for as long as it feels good. And if you'd like to go in, you can keep your eyes open, maybe let them soften a little, or if it's comfortable for you, You can close your eyes. You don't have to face the camera. Let your attention settle on your feet, whatever your feet are resting on. Notice the contact there. Maybe you've got socks on. Maybe you have bare feet. Let your awareness move up to your calves, the backs of your thighs. Maybe notice what you're sitting on, what's supporting you. Maybe a little bit of attention in the low back, the upper back. Notice the support from your spine, holding your body upright or being supported by whatever your back is resting against. Really let yourself feel the support that you're receiving. And then a little bit of attention to your hands. If your hands are resting on anything, sense those points of contact. Bring awareness to your forearms and then your upper arms, your shoulders, and the back of your neck. Notice your whole head, even your scalp. Let your awareness drop down to your throat, into your chest, and then into your belly. Let that awareness rest in the center of your body. The throat, chest, the belly. And invite a sense of how you are today. Let that emerge in your body. Whenever it feels right, slowly bring your awareness back into this space. Maybe that's opening your eyes or finding your way around your room again. And then starting to include the screen again and all the lovely faces who have joined us today. From here, we'll move into a gentle invitational practice. This technique is something you can use with clients to cultivate body awareness. So this practice is completing two sentences. You'll say, right now I'm feeling, and whatever you're feeling. And right now I'm sensing. So the contrast is that feelings are emotions. Maybe you're feeling happy or relaxed or frustrated that you signed up for this, or whatever you're feeling. Everything is welcome. And then when you get to sensation, it can be touch, taste, sound. Right now, I'm sensing tension in my shoulders. Right now, I'm sensing my heartbeat. Whatever is right for you is welcome here. I'm going to send you into small groups to do this. Maybe, Tony, we could do 4 people in a group. 4 or 5, whatever works.
Okay.
And I'll give you, we'll say 5 or 5 to 7 minutes. Right now I'm feeling, right now I'm sensing. Take your time, think about it, let the answer come to you. There's no rush. Instructions to do this are in the chat, but they're really straightforward. Any questions so far? Yeah, Sophia.
Hi, Bethany. Maybe I missed it because I was just getting my book because you're saying so many wonderful things and I'm afraid I'll forget them, so I want to write them down. Where English is not my mother tongue. Where's the difference? I understand the feeling part. What do you mean? What do you mean by sensing?
Our senses are
Mm.
taste, touch,
Okay,
sound,
so the five.
sight.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. So I focus. So I say, for example, I hear something. I feel warmth in my legs. I feel so really talking about the body itself, not about the emotions.
So we're doing both because
Mhm.
that way we start with the emotions. They're usually easier for people to identify. So we start with, right now I'm feeling whatever emotion, happy, sad, joyous, relaxed. And then right now I'm sensing whatever you're sensing.
All right, good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your question. Welcome back, everyone. I am curious, especially for those of you who have not done this before, what was it like? Maybe 2 or 3 people? Welcome, James. Okay.
For me, it was, I'm sorry. No, go ahead. Go
Annabella,
ahead.
go ahead.
For me, it was very interesting to sense the difference in the sensing before the relaxation and after the relaxation. At the end of the relaxation, I was really feeling the internal part of the body, the heart and the belly, much more open, and I could feel and sense my breath, my breathing, and I couldn't touch that before the relaxation. So that was the most interesting piece for me.
Thank you. Allison.
For me, it was just hearing all the differences in the room, what people were feeling and sensing. So I thought that was very, I guess, fun and exciting to hear different people's perspectives.
There's such a range. I always find it fascinating. Beth, did you want to share? You're unmuted.
Oh, it must have been I didn't remute myself. Yeah,
That's
no,
okay.
I enjoyed hearing everybody's. One thing I did notice is how we mix up feeling and sensation. Like
Yeah.
we say feeling, and I'm like, oh, I think that's sensation. Once we actually try to disperse, kind of tease them out from each other, that I'm often saying one thing and I mean the other.
Exactly. That's what we're trying to, that awareness is what we want to create in clients. And then once they do that, it becomes a little bit easier, a little more natural to start sensing into the body for some of the practices that we're going to do without telling them. We're not trying to trick them, but gently guide them to that place if it feels comfortable and right for them. Okay. Tony, can you share the next slide, please? So traditional behavior change coaching is client-centered. The first humanistic coach was Carl Rogers, and I love this quote by him. When I accept myself just as I am, then I change. Many of you have heard client-centered coaching. Can you keep it up, please, dear? Client-centered coaching is holding the client in unconditional positive regard and the belief that the client is the expert in themselves and that we as coaches are experts in the process of change. The trans-theoretical model, if client-centered coaching is the framework within which we're working to help people change, then the trans-theoretical model informs how or why that comes about. There are five or six stages of change that James Prochaska identified. Pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, maintenance, and then relapse isn't supposed to have the negative connotation that we often associate with it, but it's the idea that this is a natural cycle that we maintain and then something else changes. We can be in many different stages of change for different issues at the same time. And finally, motivational interviewing is one of my favorite things. It's a way of doing what you're already doing. So this can be practiced by sports coaches and doctors and nurses and dentists, and you can do it with your kids even. In motivational interviewing, we're trying to elicit change talk and resolve ambivalence instead of pushing against people's not being convinced that they're ready to change. By sitting with that, we give space for it. And then once that ambivalence has been acknowledged, it often shifts and changes on its own. And you'll see in a moment that's very similar to some of the core principles of somatic coaching. These behavior change and somatic coaching can really live together, I believe, very easily. And then the last really important part of motivational interviewing is ORs, open-ended questions, which all coaches, I think, are familiar with. Affirmations, reflective listening, and summarizing. These are things that I think most of us are doing anyway, but they're the core elements of supporting clients to change behaviors. All right, next slide, please, Tony. These are the core principles of somatic coaching. There's a belief that the body and mind are one. And this is a philosophy, but also science. The gut-brain axis is a real thing. Maybe you've heard of it as the ventral vagal, but the vagus nerve wanders through the body and touches every single abdominal organ and feeds directly into the brain. When something happens down here, the brain hears about it, and it's impossible to separate them. And so bringing the client's attention into their body supports whatever's going on in their mind, and the other way around. I think it's a bit easier for the mind to become controlling. And so bringing the wisdom of the body to support the mind can really have a huge impact on how the client is able to show up and make changes. Organicity is another core element of behavior change that also shows up in Carl Rogers' work. This belief that the client is self-organizing, creative, resourceful, and whole. We all hear that. Non-doing is another core element that is also, in some ways, one of the ICF core principles. The idea that the client is directing this and we are simply holding the space. We're not doing anything except being there in conversation with the client. Co-regulation is attuning to each other, supporting the client, and finding beauty in some part of them. Clients, even who are a bit more challenging to work with, we can find something. Maybe it's even just in their environment, if it's really challenging, the color of the background. Something allows us to support them and hold them in unconditional positive regard. And then when we're able to do that for the client, they feed it back to us and we create that coaching space. Finally, everything is welcome. If they're making up new words, if they seem to be holding two impossible emotions simultaneously, we're there for it. Any questions about either of these, behavior change or somatic coaching?
What's the role of breath in this?
The role of, I'm sorry?
Breath.
Breath?
Yeah.
Hmm. I think it's an important element of co-regulation. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's great.
Sophia, go ahead.
I think that's how I would see it. It's not just co-regulation, but isn't breath there especially for us? I find when I'm able to breathe and center myself and let go of judgment, for example, for the client and expectations, so I can regulate myself much better to be there in the receptive mode, the unattached mode, and the acceptance mode, right? Because breathing is such a part of mindfulness. And when I see the non-doing and acceptance, I immediately think of mindfulness and the 7 levels of mindfulness. And I think that's so connected to breath for us as coaches.
Thank you. What a beautiful way to say it.
My pleasure.
I also like to use breathing, my attention and awareness on breathing to help me hold space for the client when I feel a little antsy about how long this silence is going on. I think, what if I could just take 3 more breaths? I wonder if something else will change. I can be that patient. Our next practice is self-regulation. I love this. I'm going to try to tip my camera so that you don't need to see my head so much. I invite you to try this with me because it's really, really cool. And it's easy to guide people through it. I think you'll find that doing it even once or twice yourself makes it possible for you to show other people how to do it. Tony, if you can go to the self-regulation slide. Thank you. So I invite you to bring your hands in front of you. You can do this standing or sitting, and maybe a little bit less than shoulder width apart, palms facing each other. And bring your hands a little closer to each other and then a little further apart. A really small movement. I'm exaggerating so that you can actually see what I'm doing. After you do this several times, you'll start to feel a little bounce between your hands, like 2 magnets pushing each other apart. A really small movement. You can try bringing your hands a little closer to each other and feeling maybe a stronger, denser sensation. Maybe try moving the hands apart, see what that feels like, stretching it out. Couple deep breaths. How does your breath change the energy between your hands? And then when it feels right and comfortable, you can do whatever you'd like with this ball of energy. You can bring it into your chest or your belly, or you can send it off into the air, or hold it up and let it dissolve. And if it feels okay, or if you need to, you can flick your fingers out a little bit, shake your arms. So in that practice, what we're sensing is the field of energy around us. Your hands are strong energy centers. And this is, I think, such a fun way to become aware of something that seems impossible if you're all up in your head. Anyone want to share their experience?
Yeah, I'll share what you just said made a lot of sense. Put words to the experience, and that it was nearly impossible for me to be anywhere but right between my fingertips and the space between them. And it removes, cuts all the noise out, the chatter and the mental chatter. So that was my experience. It's just that it does have that really dropping in effect.
Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else?
Also in my case, I felt it immediately, and it was also funny to play with it and to be concentrating this ball. I have also a question. How does this practice help to self-regulate?
I think, like you were saying, or no, as Beth said, it's impossible to be anywhere else but here. And so bringing your awareness here forces you to be completely present with that experience. We are feeling this, and if we're actually feeling it, we're not thinking at the same time. We're having a direct experience of our energy. And that presence and mindful awareness is very calming. It shifts us out of a fight or flight state into rest and digest. Okay. Yeah, Allison, please.
Yeah, I was shocked, to be honest. At first, I was thinking, what in the world am I doing? So I was in my head, and I was really sort of, okay, this is this is not going to work on me. And then I felt when you said try to move your hands in, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's hard to do that. I can't. So there must be something there. So I was really focused on whatever that thing was that was making it hard to move in and out. And then I heard some creaking in my shoulder, so I thought, oh, I should probably get that looked at. But I was lots through my mind, but I was able to feel it, so that was very cool.
I'm so glad it worked for you. Thank you. Ocean, go ahead.
Yeah, I really appreciated this exercise. I noticed at first I was not feeling the magnetic push away
Yeah.
feeling at first, and then my mind's like, well, I know this is true because I used to do this in Qigong a lot. And so my mind was going to remembering the experience, and then there's awareness of the mind leaving the present exercise and going to a remembering, um, and then I was like, oh, that's fascinating. And then I came back to just being with what is present for me, and then that experience that you had named started to come back. So it was just very interesting how the mind is like, and then being in a classroom, it's like, well, the teacher says this, and and then the mind just goes off and tries to. So, I mean, it was really supportive in coming back to being present with the body, and And I noticed how there was this moment of letting go and coming back.
Lovely. This self-regulation is a way to set us up for next practice, which is what I'm calling embodying change. I made up this title. We can call it something else if anyone has a better idea. I needed a way to describe something that I do with my clients. I hope that you received my email yesterday. If you have printed out the paper that I sent you, it should just be a series of concentric circles with space, empty space at the top and bottom of the page. If you don't have this printed out, it's fine. Grab a piece of paper and a pen and draw a small circle and then several other circles around it. They do not have to be perfect or even close. In this practice, we're going to start on the paper, which again is a lovely way to begin for clients who don't have experience working in their body. And I want to give you the experience so that you can share it with your client and feel more confident in doing that. Instead of putting you into breakouts, I'm going to talk you through it here. If you're muted, you can answer me. It doesn't matter if I hear your answer. It's only important if you hear it. And so I'm going to take you through it, and then we'll share the experience at the end. Any questions before we begin? Oh, Tony, can
Yes,
you
I
add it
have
to
a
the chat?
question.
Yeah.
I have a question. I didn't receive the document and I didn't understand what am I supposed to do in
Yeah, me
in
too.
the piece
Okay.
of paper.
Tony, can you go to the
Or if somebody has it,
next
maybe
slide?
just show it
Yeah.
too.
I mean,
Yeah,
I've
Exactly.
literally, I
Thank
don't know if you
you.
can see this. I've literally just drawn
it's
11
funny.
circles on a piece of paper, like one and then one on the outside. I've done about 6, and then I've left some
Yep.
space either side.
Yes. Beth, if you imagine a droplet of water falling into a smooth surface of a smooth body of water, and then all of the circles that radiate out from that. Just something like that. Tony, my love, are you there? Can you go to the next slide, please? Thank you. Like this. Okay. So after we start on the paper, we're going to move this into the space around us, and you'll be moving in your room. So we're combining scaling questions, which you may use already, with constellations, which you may or may not have heard of. If you haven't, don't worry, you'll understand by the time we're done, I hope. We'll start by mapping the change. And so at the top of your page, write a few simple, non-judgmental words, no long stories, that describe a specific behavior change that you are seeking. Maybe charge my phone in any room other than my bedroom, or drinking caffeine to mask exhaustion. Saying yes to every request. Could be anything. I'll give you a few seconds. at the bottom of the page, describe what would be different for you if this issue were resolved. If possible, focus on the physical feeling of this resolution. How would your body experience this resolution? Maybe my shoulders would be less stressed, or I'd be able to take a deeper breath. I'd feel more solid and grounded. In the center of the center circle, write or draw me now. Or you can place a small object like a ring or a coin, a paperclip in the center to represent yourself, if you want. And then add either an arrow to indicate which way you're facing, or if you're using an object, you can just designate, I'm facing this way.
May I ask what you mean by I'm facing this way? So I put my ring in the middle of the circles. What do you mean by which way I'm facing? Like,
which way would you be looking?
Okay. So if it's forward, so I put up. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
And finally, on or around the concentric rings, write the elements that are in relationship with this issue. These can be tangible or abstract. Emotions, ideas, people, obstacles, or resources. Keep in mind that if there's anything you try to exclude, it will hold energy until, and that it will distract until it is included.
Could you
Bethany,
repeat that,
can I-
Bethany, please?
Sorry.
Hi, Mafalda.
Could you please repeat?
Yes. Was there another question before I repeat?
Do you have a slide that lists all those?
Yes, on here, the first line says map. So we mapped the challenge, the vision, me now, and now the elements that are part of that.
And the elements is everything, the kind of positive, negative, everything that is connected around that issue.
Yes. Mafalda, the elements that are part of this could be emotions, ideas, people, resources, obstacles, and they can be tangible or abstract. They can be sensations or feelings. And then what I said was a quote from systemic coaching and constellations. Whatever you try to exclude will always hold a powerful energy that will distract until it is included. I'll give you another 30 seconds. Before we move on, Look at this map that you've created as a whole. If you're muted, maybe you'd like to speak whatever you notice into the space around you. And then I invite you to get up and we'll move this into a physical experience. You don't have to stay on camera, don't worry. So we're going to go out of our minds into the body. Find a little bit of space in your room, doesn't have to be huge. And designate one spot as me now. Choose one element from your map that you'd like to work with right now. So stand at me now, and then a little distance away from you, identify a place that is the change that you are seeking. And then somewhere else around the room, wherever it feels right, mentally designate a spot as one element from your map. So we have 3 spots. Me now, which is wherever you're standing. The change that you are seeking, which is a little distance away. And the element that you're working with. Notice the relationship between these 3 spots. Maybe the element is between you and your objective. Maybe it's off to the side or behind you. There's no good or bad. Everything is welcome. Just notice. Let your eyes receive the room as we did in the orientation. Sense your relationship to the space around you and to the other locations that you've identified or designated. What is it like to be here at me now? Describe the feelings and sensations associated with being here. If you're muted, you can speak into the space around you. Looking at the physical location you identified as your change, how do you feel about where it is in relationship to you? If it feels right, I invite you to move towards or all the way to that change. What's it like to stand there? Take your time. What's different here? Looking at the element from your map that you placed somewhere else in the room. What's different about your perspective looking at it from here? Slowly, deliberately, return to me now. What's it like to be here after having embodied that change for a moment? Enjoy a couple of deep breaths and notice what's happening now. Take your time coming back to this space. I am really curious to hear your experiences. Maybe a couple people would like to share. We did this at warp speed, honestly. You could take 30 minutes to take a client through this process. It's really informative to go slowly. And you can use more than one element too. What was it like?
I'll share. It's funny, I've worked a lot with constellations with objects, but I never used myself. So that was kind of cool. I'm not sure why, but so it felt like embodying the change. It felt like I now feel like more possibility, like just more, feels more hopeful. And I noticed the story more concentrated and outside of me. Like the story was that it's like very hard and it's going to be like take a lot of endurance. And yet when I moved to that place, it was like, oh, it wasn't that hard. And looking at it from this way was like, yeah, it's just that the story, it kind of collapsed the story a little bit, or it made it more dense and outside of me, and also maybe more of a story.
Michelle, please. Thank you.
I thought it was definitely interesting. It's very familiar in a way that it's similar to some exercises I do with clients with Gestalt and NLP with positioning their bodies to gain different perspectives. And yeah, just like I'm sorry, I forgot her name, was saying it's very interesting to be able to notice how the feelings in your body change, maybe your perspective on the situation when you physically move to a different location and look at it from a different, different perspective. And I thought that was a really great exercise.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add, I think what was most helpful in that for me was the moment where we returned to me now, because I had a very strong sensation that I do not want to be here anymore. And I didn't have that as such a powerful feeling to start with. So that was incredibly helpful for me. And it was all really about the attention and direction and focus that I was giving certain things. So it's really useful.
Thank you. I'm so glad. All right. In a moment, we're going to go. Oh, Ocean, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think she's a little confused, but I just tried to flow with it. And I'm similar what everyone else is saying. It's like really curious and like trying maybe a little bit to use the body and to distance but actually walk away. Yeah, I think right after the it's gonna be my mind these things. Take the space of objects differently and how we can
Ocean, I'm having trouble hearing you, but I'm definitely getting the sense of what you experienced.
Can I come back with a question later when my speaker is back?
Of course. All right, Tony, we're going to go into pairs next. And this practice is a co-regulation. It's challenging. You'll take a minute to talk, introduce yourself, and then we'll go into silence, holding space for each other, maintaining eye contact as much as possible for 2 whole minutes. If someone has a timer, that's great. If not, when you see the notice come up that breakout rooms will end in 1 minute, you'll know that it's time to reflect, share with your partner what that was like for you. So you'll be in breakout rooms for a total of 4 minutes. 1 minute to settle in, 2 whole minutes of holding space, inviting joy and beauty, and then 1 minute to reflect. Any questions before we start? I see lots of smiles. Good. I know it was challenging, so I'm not going to ask how it was. And I really want you to have time for our last practice. So we're going to spend 10 minutes doing too short, Lottie. Doing a practice that, again, I had to come up with a name for it, and I'm calling it allowing. Since we only have 10 minutes, and I really want you to have an experience here, we're not going to coach both ways. You're going back into the same pair, the person with whom you just co-regulated and established, hopefully, a little bit of space. And these directions on this slide are so brief, right? Tony's sharing a document in the chat that has much more detailed instructions. So go ahead and open it now. I encourage just the coach to read it, and you can just kind of read along as you go. Hopefully, the instructions in there are clear enough and general enough that they'll be easy to adapt to whatever your client brings. So when you go back into your pair, take a moment to decide who's going to coach. And this practice is particularly good for resolving ambivalence or sitting with it. So it's probably best for the person who has an issue in which they are in contemplation, where they're not really sure which way they want to go. These two things feel just about equal. I know that I should, but at the same time, I really feel committed to another thing. I know those sound like very general instructions, but I really want you to have time to practice it. So I encourage you to just trust the process. Go with the instructions on the document. I've given you the exact words. Adapt them if necessary. Any questions before we send you off? Yeah, Ocean.
Yeah, so are you saying this is to the subject or the theme of this is if there's ambivalence or if there's like, I don't know if I should go in one direction or the other direction, like indecision moment?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So great for supporting clients to resolve ambivalence. And for those of you who are familiar with focusing, you can think of this as focusing light. Okay. All right. We'll send you off and bring you back in 10 minutes. Has this been helpful, Allison?
Yeah, it was a really great experience, and this was very interesting, the mini coaching session. So that was insightful.
Good.
We were almost there. We needed a few more seconds.
I'm so sorry, but you did great. Thank you.
Welcome
Thank
back,
you,
everyone.
Alison. You were a great coach.
Oh, good.
Okay. Thank you all so much. Anyone want to share their experience with that practice?
For me, it was amazing to see how fast I understood an angle of the ambivalence that I was not understanding at all before.
Mm.
And it
Wow.
was very fast. It didn't solve it yet, but it was an additional input that I wasn't considering at all.
Mm. I'm sorry we only had 10 minutes for that. It really isn't enough. But I hope it gave you an idea of how powerful it can be and could be if you had even longer. We only have a few minutes left. I want to respect your time. I'm available if to stay longer if anyone has questions or wants to talk. But we'll summarize really quickly what we've gone through, the practices that you've experienced. Self-regulation, co-regulation, feeling and sensing, orientation, embodying change, and allowing. I really wanted us to finish with I'm leaving with, which many of you are familiar with. So to respect your time, I encourage you to mute yourself and then speak out into your own space. I'm leaving here with whatever you're leaving with. And if you'd like to share it in the chat, go ahead. I'm leaving here with Tony. Next slide, please. Anyone have questions? Yes.
Yeah, so such a joy to be here, first of all, and I feel like I'm leaving with a sense of expansion into somatic practice, and an upliftment in energy and relaxation and attention. My question, I think I have many questions, but maybe I'll start with motivational interviewing. I didn't understand what you're saying, trying to elicit change talk. What were you saying about, could you say a little bit more about?
I breezed over it really quickly. Often when someone is working towards or knows that they should change a behavior, especially when there's ambivalence, we hear, I think I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, some form of that. And so instead of pushing them to change, we allow them to talk about how they're going to stay the same. And we even reflect that back in motivational interviewing. So you really enjoy smoking. It's relaxing to you. And when we acknowledge and accept and welcome their sustained talk, often then they'll return with, yeah, my wife really wants me to quit, and I know that it would be better for my health. And so when we hear that little nugget of change talk, we allow it to grow.
I get it. Okay. All right. Beautiful. So just to reflect back, so someone's talking about maybe I'm watching too much YouTube or too much Netflix. And then I just kind of honor, what's great about this? Why?
Yeah.
What's happening there?
Yes.
It I don't feel so lonely. Da 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 da. But I feel afterwards, and then I kind of be like, what's this feeling? Just say
Yes.
more or something like that. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
You got it. You totally got it. All right.
Can I
I
maybe
know
some other
that,
people
yes.
too.
I know that some people need to leave right on the half hour. Please, I would be so grateful if you could scan the QR code and complete a really, really short survey at your convenience. I would love to know what you thought of this and how I can make this workshop better. Thank you so much for attending. I'm really, really grateful for your time. I'm here for another 5 or 10 minutes if anyone has questions. But this is the end of the official content. Anyone else have questions?
Anthony, I can't quite scan it. Let me see. Okay, never mind. I got it.
I
Had to do a
think
little bit of
Tony
finagling with the
also,
toolbar.
yeah, Tony can put the link to the chat or to the survey in the chat as well if the QR code is too small.
Okay, I've got to
There
head
it
out,
is.
but thank you so much. I appreciate it. It was a great
Thanks
class.
for coming, Michelle.
Thank you. Nice meeting everyone.
Bye. Anyone else?
Anyone? I have a question unless someone else wants to go. I have another question.
I think it's all yours. Thank you, Beth.
Okay.
See you.
Going back to the embodying change,
Mhm.
I didn't understand the elements. Like I understood with the concentric circles, with the obstacle sensation, feelings, thoughts, you're writing down like the negative ones or also all the thoughts, all the feelings, whether it's positive or negative.
Yeah, everything. Everything
Okay.
that relates to this issue in any way. Maybe it's really relevant, maybe it's tangential. And then this is the kind of thing that you could work through with a client, one element at a time. And I mean, it could take as much time as necessary. Maybe you're able to work with more than one element at a time. Maybe only some of them are actually needing to be addressed.
Beautiful, beautiful. And then when you're actually putting your body, like that next embodiment stage, so the place that you're in now is where you're presently at, and then you choose a place where you see your future, where you have transitioned or transformed.
Yeah, exactly.
And then something about an element.
Yeah.
What?
So the
What was
element, let's say I'm here and the change that I envision is me charging my phone in a different room. And another element of that is knowing that someone might need to get in touch with me in the middle of the night. Right? And so wherever I've placed that in the room, it's in relationship to my desired change in some way and to me. So maybe I've put it way off to the side, or maybe it's between me and the change that I want. And I have to move through it or get past it in order to make this change. And so the way that I find a way to move from here to my change working with my relationship with whatever this element is the idea of it's the reason for including that element.
Okay, so the element is like the block to the change, be it positive, be it negative. It sounds like in this one, it
Right.
was like, oh,
Yeah.
like for me.
It might not be a block. It might be something that I've put behind me. Maybe the change is still the same, charging my phone in another room. And the element that I'm working with is knowing the scientific benefits of not charging my phone. And maybe I've put that element behind me. And so as I move toward my change, it's buoying me and helping me. Or maybe it's between me and the change, and it helps pull me toward that change.
Okay, so the element can have many faces, both pleasant, unpleasant,
Exactly.
supportive. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's the main obvious element compared to all the other things you've written down in the.
Right. So we worked with the one that was most important to address at this moment, but you could work through more than one of them.
And then you can just take it out of the mind and place it in space.
Yeah.
And move your body.
Once we acknowledge it, it often resolves or changes in some way.
Beautiful.
Let's go to Lottie.
And do you move your body towards the element, or when you're in that, or it's just up for
it's very free. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. Lottie, what's up?
Just quickly, I thought that was all amazing. I was curious why you chose to have it so broad, elements, where you could easily have said blocks and resources. So why was that?
I think that to allow for ambivalence, I didn't want to designate something as needing to be a resource or an obstacle, because there are some things that are neither and are still important to the process of change.
Sure. And actually identifying them would create a whole load more cognitive stuff to be done. Yeah.
Thank you for asking.
Thank you, Bethany. Sorry.
Allison, thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Good evening.
I need to leave as well, but I just really wanted to say that it was an amazing 1.5 hours. I'm very happy I listened to my gut because I'm so tired. I just come from a 4 days training in a different country, and I was really that short of saying I'm going to watch the recording, and I'm very happy I didn't. And that exercise with the embodying change and just standing there and and I love that you did not see obstacles, or because then we go into your head, right? And then we start looking for what are the issues and what is that. I think you can't do it with all kind of people, because there will be people, especially if they're new to coaching, they will need, tell me no. Let's do the SWOT analysis here. But I think maybe with this group, it worked very well and was very helpful, and it really provided a great shift for me to look at things in a way that I haven't been looking at them before. So it was really amazing. And I'm very curious. I wrote a lot of things down. Obviously, that's just a small seed, right? To keep on learning and looking, because it was just so much. It was really amazing. Just want to say thank you. I did the feedback.
Thank you.
And I hope to meet you soon one day when I'm back in Germany. I managed to meet Tony last year. I hope I'll manage to meet you too. It's been fantastic.
Thank you so much for coming, Sophia.
My pleasure. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Lottie. I really tried.
Really great. I will do the feedback and hope to see you online again soon.
Thank you. I'm sure we will.
Okay.
Good night. Thanks for coming, Ocean. Do you have other questions?
Um, I guess so. I was thinking I'll just figure it out. But this is specifically on indecision,
Yeah.
like between two things. Is that how it works most in the most supportive way for people or for clients?
For the allowing practice.
The concentric, I don't know, is this the allowing?
The concentric circles, that's the I called that embodying change. It works with ambivalence and indecision, but I think it's also great for identifying other parts of an issue, because sometimes we may have, like, if you want to, when you move into that physical space part of it, if you choose to use more than one element at a time, you may have, for example, the change, the two elements that are the ambivalence, and maybe a resource. So the resource could be a way that you resolve the ambivalence. Often, sitting with ambivalence and holding both, allowing both to be present, can even become a conversation if you give it enough time. If you're not rushed like we were. When it becomes a conversation, it can be something like my heart and my mind. So I know in my mind, and my mind feels dense maybe and like really solid. And in my heart, I have this juicy kind of squishy feeling. And these two things are both very present. I'm making this up, right? And maybe I even hold them in my hands and try bringing them closer to each other, try holding one. How do they feel? You can go so far into this. And if that's intriguing to you, there's a whole field called focusing that goes much deeper into this practice, and it's amazing. So much fun. You can do
So
it
it's
by
like,
yourself or with a client.
okay, yeah, and it sounds like once you're there in that situation with the client or in that processing or that depth space, things kind of open up
Yeah.
to like, oh, go here and we can go here, and as you're tuning to their
Yeah.
system.
Yes.
Thank you so much. This has been such a pleasure and like opening, and yeah, and I really appreciated your pacing and
Thank
the
you.
cadence that which you use. I love how you slow down. So it's so nourishing. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
I'm really glad, and I really appreciate your questions. I think it added a lot for other people. Thank you.
Thank you. Take good care, and I'm going to fill this out right now.
Okay, thanks. Good night, Ocean.